Hey, Cara here from Core4 Parenting with this week's Q&A. Recently, I had a blog post that published and a question came in. The blog post was about how we address our kids during their earliest years when they are either doing something wonderful or falling short of the mark, and how we have conversations with them about that, so that we're not either setting them up for a perfectionistic mindset, things always have to be perfect, and I always have to do great things, or setting them up for a sense of failure. I am no good at this. I will never be good at this. I'm not sure why I even try. So the question that came through was, what do you say to a child if they are doing a great job, or if it's not going so well? It's a great question. And the first thing I want to point out is the question was phrased perfectly. What do you say to a child? This is all about language. This is all about the words we choose and why we choose them, the tone we use and why we choose it. This is not about today's outcome. This is about the future and how we are presetting our kids to think about their intrinsic value and how they approach tasks. So I reached out to this mom and said, can you give me a tangible example of something recent in your life? And we'll use that to complete the Q&A. Her answer was, her kids are learning to read and write, and writing is tricky. It sure is. That sometimes they complete the task no problem and write their name, start to finish, all the letters in order, all the letters shaped well and properly, and that name is readable. Other times they start their writing and run out of space. And then those extra letters that they know need to be there to complete their name, they put anywhere on the paper. The result looks different. Here's my response. This is so tricky. Letting go of my former teacher self for a moment, or current teacher self, as it were, I'm not going to go into the theory of, the gross motor and the fine motor required to write letters, the how do I connect the phoneme with the shape that they are on the paper, the order of operations. We're not dealing with any of that. As a parent, we need to reflect for our kids the effort that they made. So our first response should be about effort. Wow, you worked really hard on that. Our next response could be about intensity. That is a really hard thing that you're doing. Writing your name is hard, and you're working really hard at it. We're infusing our kids with a sense of this action that they're taking isn't really about the result. It's about the experience. Because let's be honest, writing their name start to finish on a piece of paper so it fits is about the easiest thing they're going to encounter when they start school. Everything from that point gets harder. And if they think that the result has to be right every time, they're very quickly going to get frustrated, because it won't be. But the process can be. You are doing a hard thing. You are working hard at this hard thing. Wow, look, today you got 4 letters on the same page. Oh my gosh, yesterday you had 4, today you have 5. Notice what I'm doing. I am literally being their mirror. I'm putting words to the reality. Think of it as narrating. Does that make sense? You're narrating for them what you see, from the challenge of it to their effort. And then you're normalizing the result, whatever it is. Here's a great example. My daughter, at about the same age that this mom is talking about, 4 or 5 years old, heading into a traditional learning environment in preschool, wrote her name. And it makes me giggle just to think about it. Her name had about 26 letters, the same as the alphabet when she wrote it. The 5 that comprised her actual name were definitely in there somewhere, not in order, but they were in there, tucked in with all those others that she was learning how to write too. She went to kindergarten writing her name that way. And every single time she did it, this was my response. Hey, you wrote your name on that paper. Wow, you signed your name on your piece of art. You must be really proud of that art. Oh, you put your name on here. 26 letters worth. Did she eventually realize that her name was not that long? Of course. Did she eventually figure out how to match the shape of the letter and the order of those letters to write her name? Definitely. Did she have that figured out pretty darn quick right after she started kindergarten? Yep. Did she feel frustrated during that journey of her 26-letter name to her 5-letter name? No. Did she feel like because she couldn't get it right for the year previous to her kindergarten experience that she'd never get it right? No. Wow, I'd say your name has a lot of letters. Oh yeah, she'd say. You know how to write a lot of letters. Yep. Feeding the experience. Acknowledging where they are at, no matter what that is in comparison to what the world says the norm should be. That's the way we support our kids as they grow into the skills that will lead them into their future. Thanks for your question. Really appreciate it. Keep them coming, everybody. Q&A is one of my favorite things in the world to do. I love talking to your real world challenges and giving you some real world feedback. Stay mindful, everybody.